Hello, Shalom Aleichem. It's good we should all have a good year, a good year. Kesiva v'chasima tova. Anyway, I have here a very nice sefer I found. Derech HaLimud. Derech HaLimud, it's called, by Aleph Gimel Kaplan. He's a big unav. He's a modest person. It doesn't look like he's saying his whole name. Anyway, he's talking about the better way to learn the Talmud, the Gemara. So anyway, there are two ways of learning the Gemara. There's one is Beiyun. That is, Beiyun means going very deeply into the Gemara, into all the sources and everything, very deeply, and let's say concentrating on one page, one blot, two blots. I'm not the biggest expert on this, but I'm saying it the way I understand it. And then there's Bekius. Bekius means going into the learning as much as you can. In other words, learning one blot. A blot is a page. One page, 2 pages, 3 pages. Going as far as you can and learning it. And in other words, one is trying to concentrate very, very deeply into it. One, let's say, page, 2 pages, one parak, and the other is just to keep going with less commentaries. Of course, you go into the commentaries, but with less commentaries. But more. Bekius means to try to learn the whole breadth of the Talmud. So anyway, this Derech HaLimud, here it is, Derech HaLimud. This Mechaber, this Rebbe is in favor of learning more, as much as you can, of the Talmud. Anyway, I'll get into a little bit of what he's saying, actually. Okay, here we go. So, let's see where we are. Bekius b'chol chelkei haTorah, to get for oneself, to acquire for himself Bekius, expertise b'chol chelkei haTorah, learning from the top line down here, in all of the portions of the Torah. Davar zeh niftach b'gedolim. This thing was developed by the gedolim, the great rabbis. B'divrei kadsho shel gaon haTorah b'musar maran Rabbi Yitzchak Blazer Zatzal, the holy words of the Gaon haTorah, the great man of the Torah b'musar and ethical thought and action, Maran Rabbi Yitzchak Blazer Zatzal, the Rabbi Yitzchak Blazer, Zecher Tzedek Levracha, Hamiyusadim al divrei Rabbo Hagadol Maran Hagaon Rabbi Yisrael Salanter Zecher Tzedek Levracha. He did this by his Rebbe, the great Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, Zecher Tzedek Levracha. So Or Yisrael, he learned this in Or Yisrael. Okay, so this is what he says: the mitzvahs Talmud Torah, the mitzvah of learning Torah, yesh bazeh shnei inyanim. It has in it 2 inyanim, 2 topics. The mitzvah of Talmud Torah has 2 topics in it. Aleph, the first one is limud haTorah, the actual learning of the Torah. Beis, the second one is yedias haTorah, the knowledge of the Torah. V'hinei lemitzvah zo shel limud haTorah. So for this mitzvah of learning the Torah, kol ma shalomed mekayim hamitzvos asay b'hagisa bo yomam v'layla. So in the factor of, we said that there's 2 factors. So the factor of limud haTorah, learning of the Torah, kol ma shalomed mekayim hamitzvos asay b'hagisa bo yomam v'layla. Whatever one learns of the Torah, one is being mekayim, one is fulfilling the mitzvah of, it says in the Torah, v'hagisa bo yomam v'layla. You should be engrossed in it, you should be involved in it day and night. Hein mikra o mishnah, whether it's mikra, the Torah, o mishnah, or the mishnah, the mishnayos, from the rabbi, from the rabbanon. Gemara, The Gemara explains the Mishnah. So hein mikra, that's the Chumash. O Mishnah, Gemara, halachos va'agados, that's the halachic aspects. That's the law of the Torah. Shekulan nasnu laMoshe miSinai. Everything was given to Moshe miSinai from Hashem. Ulam hageder hasheni b'mitzvahs Talmud Torah. But the second factor, the second gate, the second aspect of mitzvah Talmud Torah, who yediyah satorah, is the knowing of the Torah, not only the learning of the Torah, but the knowing of the Torah. V'hu masha amru Chazal, and this is what the Chazal, the Chachamim Zechron Lebracha, the rabbis of blessed memory, said in Bekius Daf Lamed, in the Gemara of Kedushin Daf Lamed, that's the 30th Daf, Vishinantam sheyehu divrei Torah mechudadim bepicha, Vishinantam, and they should be sharp. You should learn them very, very sharply, know them very well. Sheyehu divrei Torah mechudadim bepicha. That's the divrei Torah should be very sharp in your mouth. In other words, you should know how to answer. You shouldn't answer like haphazardly. You should know really exactly what you're saying. She'im yeshal lecha adam davar. So if somebody asks you something, al tegamgem, you shouldn't, Famke, we say, you should not, al tegamgem, you shouldn't hesitate and say, oh, I really don't know this thing, or whatever it is. You should really have the answer. Al tegamgem, you shouldn't hesitate, but to Omar lo, and then later on say him the answer. Ela Omar, but you should say, Ela Emor, but you should say it. Ela Emor, oh, there. Let's get it on, and sorry for the delay. Emor, we should say it to him. V'yesod ha-mitzvah hazos kol el shnei peratim. And the foundation of this mitzvah includes two specific things. Aleph, hayadiyah lircho shlo ha-bekius b'chol chelkei ha-Torah. Hayadiyah, the knowledge, lirchosh, to acquire bo ha-bekius, to get the expertise, b'chol chelkei ha-Torah, in all of the aspects of the Torah, all the parts of the Torah. Sheyihyeh talmudo shogur b'fiv. Sheyihyeh talmudo shogur b'fiv. His learning should be very right at the tip of his tongue. Shogur b'fiv. He should be able to answer right away. Beis hu hayecholes lehitchakem b'Torah. This is the second part of it is hayecholes, the ability lehitchakem b'Torah, to become wise in the Torah, lechadeid haseichel, to sharpen one's intellect, leshono, his or her, leshono, his tongue, the way one speaks, ulehishuro, and to make it straight, to strengthen one's thoughts, to be able to understand what the Torah is saying. Sheyuchol lisa v'litain b'milchamto shel Torah, that one should be able to be talking and having a conversation b'milchamto shel Torah, in the learning, the back and forth of the discussion of the Torah. V'la'akor harim b'pilpulo, and to uproot mountains with one's talking of the intellect, the aspects of the Torah. In other words, very, very concise thought processes. So it's called V'la'akor harim, to uproot mountains, even b'pilpula, with one's one's discussion of the Torah. Hareinu ladas, we have to understand ki shelosha ikarim lo lemitzvah hagadola hazu asher hi chayenu v'yarich yameinu. So we have to understand that these three different principles of this mitzvah gedola, of the learning of the Torah, and the knowledge of the Torah, asher hi chayinu, this is our life, v'orech yameinu, and the length of our days, v'alpia yashku kol sadarenu, v'alpia, and through through this yashku kol sadarenu, we get to drink kol sadarenu, all of our the way we are mesader, the way we do things, etzem halimud, the actual learning, the learning, via Bekius, and the expertise, the knowledge, the breadth of the knowledge, but Torah, and the Torah, Beiyun, but Torah, and also the Iyun is the depth of the knowledge of knowing, going deep into the Gemara. So this is the three aspects. Yediyas HaTorah kach kovim Rabbeinu Gedolei Ha'olam mechayebes es halomid lo rak lehitzchakem b'Torah v'lechadeid ha'seichel. The learning of the Torah kach kovim Rabbeinu Gedolei Ha'olam. So that the great rabbis, the great people of the world, establish it or apportion it. Mechayebes es halomid, makes one obligated, the one that's learning obligated, lo rak lehitzchakem b'Torah, not only to become wise in the Torah, but lechadeid haseichel, and to sharpen the seichel, the intellectual facilities, elagam, but also lirchosh lo bekios b'chol chelkei haTorah, to acquire Bekius. Bekius is expertise, in other words, a wide breadth of knowledge. B'chol chelkei haTorah, in all of the different aspects of the Torah. B'chol chelkei haTorah, and so what does we mean? B'chol, all of the aspects, all of the chalakim, the portions of the Torah. Peirusha, the explanation is, kodem kol, at first, mi brachos ad uktzin, from brachos, the Talmud brachos ad uktzin, until uktzin. Brachos is the first one of the tractates of the Talmud, and ad uktzin. Ad uktzin is the last tractate of the Torah. V'kefi shebiya Rabbeinu Hagra, and like the Rabbeinu, the Rabbi Hagra, the grown Rabbi Eliyahu, that's the Vilna Gaon. He explained this. Huba b'Maharat Zchiyas Shabbos Ramadan Lefalef. That's Maimer Chazal. What the Chazal said, the Chachamim, the Rabbanan said. Kiddushin Mem Beis, Kiddushin and Mem Beis. She'ein Tzachilas Dino Shel Adam Elo Al Divrei Torah. That the first question that one is asked when one goes up to the Bezdin Shalmaila is Divrei Torah. When one goes over before Hashem and the heavenly court, and says that there are a few things that are asked. The first part of what's asked is, Al Divrei Torah, did you learn Torah? So it's an important thing that we should learn Torah. Did you got to, let's see, Kavata itim la Torah. Did you set aside times for learning of the Torah? Sheshoalin also im osak b'chol hashisha sedarim. So that they ask him, did you occupy yourself b'chol shisha sedarim, in all of the 6 sedarim of the Mishnah, 6 sections of the Mishnah, Zerayim, Moed, Nashim, Nezikin, Kachim, and Taharos. So those are the 6. Zerayim is Moed, Nashim, Nezikin, Kachim, Taharos. Did you learn all of the different aspects of the Torah, all of the Mishnayos of the Torah? Malacha Gadolahi. This is a great work. This is great, a lot of work. V'lo aleinu legomra. It's not upon us to finish it. V'adai shelo b'shana achas. Certainly not in one b'shana achas, in 1 year. Gam lo b'eser shanim. Not in 10 years even. Aval ein anu b'nei chorin libatel heimena. But we are not free. We are not free to turn away from it. In other words, we have to be learning Torah with Hashem's help. We should make it an important thing that we should start learning Torah, and if we could learn it in English. There are a lot of English seferim that we can learn, but it's an important thing that we should learn Torah. Ma shemutal aleinu hu hamachashava techila. So what is ma shemutal aleinu? That which is lying upon us, what we are obligated is. He hamachashava techila. The first is the machshava, the thought of the Torah. Lahachin es hatachnes hadarusha, to prepare the way one thinks. Kefi shesiyim sham maran hagon Reb Yitzchak Blazer Zatzal, just like Reb Yitzchak Blazer said Zatzal. V'gam seder halimud yihye v'inyan shiyagia lemataraso, and also the seder of the limud, the seder, the order of the learning, will be b'inyan, we should be in the way, that we should work, lemataraso, for this aim. Seder halimud. The seder halimud is also part of what we have to be thinking about. The way we learn is also part of what we have to aim for in our work, in our learning of the Torah. Hamataros shekol echad meyachel lohen lerchosh bekius. So the aim is shekol echad, everyone meyachel lohen, it's upon him, should start lerchosh bekius, to start acquiring bekius expertise. Well, his chakim b'Torah, and to start becoming wise in the Torah. Okay, also, so there are two aspects. So hamataros shekol echad miyachal lehen, everyone has to start learning lerchosh bekius, the expertise. Well, his chakim b'Torah, and also to become wise in the Torah. That's another aspect. His chakim b'Torah, to become wise in the Torah. Mechayabos seder limud al pi tachnis sheyihye beinyan sheyagia lamataraso, that it should be limud, we should learn al pi tachnis, according to the way of it should be a way set out, that it should be the inyan, the topic of sheyagia lamataraso. In other words, we have to start learning how to order our thoughts in the Torah-dik way, in the way of the Torah. Sidrei Bekius Malayim. Sidrei Bekius Malayim. Seder, that's the order of Bekios Malayim. We should do a lot of learning in breadth. In other words, a lot of many different blots of the Gemara. We should cover ground if we can. That's an important thing. And then whatever we can. Everyone is different. Sidrei Chazara Tamidim. We should also have regular times when Chazara, when we go back and review what we're learning. In Bedika Mizamein. In Bedika Mizman Lizman. In Bedika, also Bedika, that's we have to, like a test, we have to test ourselves Mizman Lizman from time to time. Shel Kamos, also of how much of it we know. So in other words, not only very superficial, but also as much as we can. Hayadios v'yichuson. Hayadios, that which is yadios, the knowledge, v'yichuson, and the how much of it we know. Gam l'sidrei halimud haragilim, and also for the l'sidrei halimud haragilim, the order of that which we learn regularly. Regilim baboker, achar atzoharayim, baboker in the morning, achar atzoharayim in the afternoon, bo'erev in the evening, v'gam lebein hasidarim, and also between the sidarim, between, and also bein hasidarim means the yeshiva boys, the yeshiva bachrim, between when they're going to yeshiva, or between when one is learning the regular times, or lebein hazmanim, the chol, or between bein hazmanim. Bein hazmanim is between the zmanim, the times when one is in yeshiva. The chol zman shemuktash lelimud mesuyam, for all the time when one consecrates for learning of the Torah. Yesh lahaktim machashava techila. One should go and first think about machshava, how one is going to approach the learning. Ketzad lihischakein b'Torah, how lihischakein b'Torah, to become wise in the Torah. Beketzad lerchosh Bekius, how to lerchosh, to acquire Bekius, to acquire the Bekius, the expertise, the knowledge. We'll do a little bit more. Umafsidim od b'yicholas halimud. Okay, let's continue. K'fi shehuzkar medivrei Maran Hagon Reb Yisrael Salanter Zatzal. And like we mentioned from the words of Reb Yisrael Salanter, Shnei chalakim lo lamitzvas yediyas haTorah. There are two chalakim, two different aspects, two different parts of yediyas haTorah. Rechishas haBekius, the acquiring of the Bekius, the knowledge of as much as we can of the blots, of the dafim of the Talmud and the Torah. Vechidud haseichel, and also sharpening seichel, one's seichel, one's intellectual facilities, one's learning power. V'lamito shel davar, and the amito shel davar, the truth of the matter is, hu behar talya, hai b'hai talya, everything is one thing has to do with the other thing. Everything is intertwined. Kafi shehigdir zos maran hagon Rabbi Mordechai Gifter Zatzal, like Rabbi Mordechai Gifter Zatzal said in Milei the Agaros Gimel Nunches, ha'omol she'ein bo yediyah meruba b'mekoros. Ha'omol she'ein bo yediyah meruba b'mekoros. Hu omol b'sichlohu, v'lo b'seichel haTorah. Ha'omel she'ein bo yediyah. Somebody that is working, she'ein bo yediyah meruba b'mekoros, that she'ein bo yediyah, he does not have the yediyah, the knowledge, meruba, much knowledge, b'mekaros, and the mekaros is the sources, hu omel b'sichlahu. So hu omel b'sichlahu, so he's working with his seichel, with his intellectual capacity. Below b'seichel haTorah, but not below b'seichel haTorah, not in the seichel, the intellectual capacity of not in the seichel, the rules of the Torah. In other words, if one does not have the mekaros, the sources of learning, and of the lashon of where the way things are as we're learning, so he's learning with his own intellectual capacity and not the seichel of the Torah. He's learning with his own intellectual capacity, but not with the seichel of the Torah. This is what Reb Mordechai Gifter says, Zatzal. Ha-hischakmos v'chidud ha-seichel. So what do we mean by hischakmos v'chidud ha-seichel? Getting wise and sharpening one's intellectual capacity. This is hadarushim liyadiyas ha-Torah, that is, we need for the learning of the Torah. Einam ha-talmidus v'almo shel darkei ha-seichel. This is not just an intellectual exercise in one's capacity of reasoning, enoshi, of one's physical, one's mortal capacity of rational thinking. Ella his chakmos b'Torah, V'chidud haseichel hatorani. This is getting wise, but Torah in the Torah. V'chidud, and sharpening haseichel, the seichel, the way of looking at things, hatorani, the Torah's way of looking at things. Lihargolos hamachashava b'derech ha'iyun shel chachmei hagemara b'harishonim. Lahargolos, to get oneself regulated, to get oneself the habit of hamachashava, of the machshava, the thought process, b'derech ha'iyun, the way of looking at things, the iyun of concentration, shel chachmei hagemara, of the chachmei hagemara, the wise people of the Gemara, the wise men of the Gemara, b'harishonim. This is what we mean by chidud ha-seichel, getting one's sharpening one's seichel. The seichel of the Torah, what we learn, what we try to learn, the mekoros, the mekoros, the basic things. Halimud atzmo, halimud. V'yasera mizu, and more than this, hirchev the Beiyun Maran Hagon, Rabbi Aharon Kotler Zatzal, Rabbi Aaron Kotler Zatzal said, Mishnas Rabbi Aharon Maimarim Gomel Lamed Chabab, Bi'omdo al Omek Milchamos Hayetzer Hatamuna Ha'amadas Derech HaLimud. When he was talking about the Milchamos Hayetzer, the going against the Yetzer Hara, Hatamuna, which is sort of embedded, Modes Derech HaLimud, which is hidden in when one is learning Derech HaLimud. B'makom halimud atzmo, b'makom halimud atzmo. Instead of the learning itself, one is learning about one's own way of thinking. One should be learning in the seichel of the Gemara, of the Talmud, of the way of the Torah. B'chol devareinu ad hena nechlala b'devarav b'sefer berura. B'chol devareinu ad hena, all of our words till now, nechlala were included, b'devarav are in his b'devarav b'sefer berura. It's in his words. B'yoter mita'eh hayetzer b'derech HaLimud lo nechonim. Yoter mitoe hayetzer b'derech HaLimud. The Yetzer Hara tries to make us mistaken b'derech HaLimud, in the ways of learning, lo nechonim, not ways that are not correct. L'dayek yoter midai, l'dayek yoter midai, to analyze more than is necessary. It was there rows. There are two things that are wrong here. Chada. One is shalomdim ma'at mizoir. One is that one learns less than one can. V'hari hachiyav hu lilmod kol Torah, and the chiyav is to learn the whole Torah, kol Torah, as much as one can of the Torah. Kimiforish becoming mikomus, but one should never give up. One should try to do whatever one can. Uvenefesh hachayim, and nefesh hachayim, dalad beis, hevi mimishlei rabbosa. So he learns. Ba mi sheyesh b'yodo shnei sedarim, o shlosha hakadosh baruch hu omer lo v'ni kol ha'halachos lama lo shonisa. If somebody that somebody that goes in front of the Ribono Shel Olam, in front of Hashem, and he with two sedarim of the Talmud, or three, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Omer Lo, Hashem says to him, the Holy One, blessed be He, says to him, B'ni, my son, Kol ha'halachos lama lo shanisa. Why didn't you learn the halachos? Why didn't you learn more? V'hini halimud b'derech hadiyuk yoter midai, asher lo masigim harbe b'kamus, v'emes mafsidim gam b'mash shalomdim. And v'hinei, and behold, halimud b'derech hadiyuk, one that learns in the way of a lot of analysis, yoter midai, more than necessary, asher lo masigim harbe b'kamus, where one does not get too far V'emes, in other words, one doesn't get so far. V'emes mafsidim gam v'ma shalamdim. V'emes, in truth, one is losing what one learns, God forbid. Ki nimshachim neged yesodos amatim b'Torah. Ki nimshachim neged yesodos amatim b'Torah. Because they are Ki nimshachim neged yesodos amatim b'Torah. Because they are against the Sodos Amatim, the right foundations of the Torah. V'chokrim b'derech hegyon l'maymed al seichel atzmo. Because one is thinking about it through one's own power of seichel, but not really through the Talmud seichel. One should try to get oneself to learn in the way of the Talmud, of the Gemara. It's a very hard thing to do. Shezeh mamash hepech haTorah umafsidim emaod bicholas halimud. Shezeh, so this is mamash hepech haTorah. This is the opposite of the Torah. Mafsidim emaod, and one is losing much bicholas halimud in one's ability to learn. Betzoeh, and this is a mistake. Sherotze leired liomek. That Sherotze leired liomek. She wants to go to the omek, the depths. One wants to go to the depths of everything, and in truth, one is not really clearing up everything 100%, actually. And he wants to build on his own seichel hamalei hakadamus mutaos, from hamalei hakadamus mutaos. It has a lot of mistakes, his own seichel. V'chesron yediyah b'Torah u'b'darchei Torah. So in other words, one should learn. In other words, one should learn as much as one can. So one learns the way the Torah thinks, and then one can use that as a measuring stick. V'yadavar mevor ki hayetzer misapech b'kama gevanim l'chol echad l'fi mahuso. V'yimeinu yachal lo meir lo lahazniach talmudo Rotze lapsido b'chol ha'efshariyos v'yetzem limudo melvad bittul Torah b'kamus ha'mechufosh kol ha'eitzos lahatrid machshavto ach gam b'limudo rotze leta'aso. So in other words, these are different ways that the Yetzer Hara tries to get one to not learn the right way. But one does what one can, and we have to keep on trying and doing. Let's continue here. Bekach hagadir zos maran hagon Rabbi David Cohen Shlita. Rabbi David Cohen said, Shlita, you should be well. Rosh Yeshivas Hebron, the head of the Yeshiva Hebron Becheber Moetzes Gedolei HaTorah Be'eretz Yisrael. Sicha Lamusav Shinkuf Bar Bechakosei Tov Shin Samach Beis Biladei HaYediyah V'Shlita B'Shas. If not for Yediyah, his knowledge, V'Shlita, and his conquest, in other words, his mastery of the subject, B'Shas, in the Shisha Sedarim, the